jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back
Shout out to the hottest chat in the MFing game. A-side official, no negotiation needed. Period. The first in the building. Big Blunts and Boxing. Great night of boxing. Salute to the GOAT on deck. What's good with it? Yes, I agree with that, man. A great night of boxing. Great night of boxing. It turned out to be, a good night. An active night. Real talk. Timothy Bradley, watch your mouth next time. Yeah, we definitely gonna get to Timothy Bradley. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Team Tucker for sure. Shout out to Samuel on deck. I see you in the building, man. Haney AK Pillow Hands out on a show tonight. Hands out on a show tonight. Put on a show tonight? Yeah, put on a show tonight. Yeah. So let me first start by saying that shout out to Team Tucker who went in there and fought a top number 5 ranked in middleweight division in WBA, and he did outstanding. Heart and grit is never a question with him. You know what I'm saying? It's never a question. It's just the gauntlet he had to fight through for his last 3 fighters that made us question, what was actually going on right there. What was trying to be proven to somebody who has only 11 fights, 9 fights, 10 fights, 9 fights. You know what I'm saying? 8 fights. What was to be proven? So tonight he fought a big middleweight who had to be at least, I would say, in the 170s. You know what I'm saying? 170s or low 180s. He was much bigger than Jahi, from what I understood. Jahi came in, at a much higher weight, as much as he can rehydrate to, outside of the 150s, in the 160 range. But if you saw his opponent, you would have said to yourself, dang, that's a big dude. He actually, his frame is good for freaking middleweight. You know what I'm saying? And to be honest with you, he can fight. You know what I'm saying? Jahi's opponent can fight. Jahi can fight. But I'm just saying, as far as his opponent goes, him being the Olympian, part of the Olympian class 2020, he was slick. You know what I'm saying? He was tough. You know what I'm saying? He could box. He wasn't afraid to mix it up. He did what he had to do. That's what made for the fight to be a very good fight, a very active fight, a very up-tempo fight. And once again, Jahi was in there with somebody who was willing to, go mano a mano, punch for punch, and put on an entertaining show. Salute and big congrats to, him battling his way with a top 5 ranked opponent. Even though the fight was a draw, it wasn't a loss. And you know what I'm saying? It's almost like, to be honest, it's almost like, he had to go through a period of trying to pass test. And pretty much what he did tonight is what he's did before. he just, looked more stronger, stayed more active on the gas, and it ended up earning the draw. You know what I'm saying? People can't sit up here and say, nobody lost or whatever. It was a draw. And it was a very, very solid scrap. Active, like I said. Nice volume of punches and exchanges from both fighters. You know what I'm saying? I can say this about Jahi, and there was a bigger fighter. He didn't languish on the ropes. You know what I'm saying? Just because the ring was short anyway. I don't know what was that for. It seems like the ring keep on getting shorter and shorter and shorter, smaller and smaller. And I'm like, next they're gonna have a 4x4 ring in their joint. I don't know what's it up. What was up with the ring? Was it the venue size? I don't know, but he was able to work through it as always, and there with a bigger opponent. You don't want to start jumping to conclusions and trying to come up with conspiracy theories. Whatever, but the ring was just super small. I ain't gonna lie to you. It was just super small for whatever reason that was. It was small when we was up there last time. You know what I'm saying? The last time when we was out there in Tulsa, I believe. You know what I'm saying? The ring was small then. When we fought Nico, when Tucker fought Nico Seknashvili, the ring was small. And then this ring was even smaller. Big shout out to Team Tucker though, and shout out to his opponent. You know what I'm saying? Great fight. You know what I'm saying? Did what he had to do. Real talk. But one thing that stood out to me was the commentary. Timothy Bradley, just was absolutely ex parte, very heavy on the bias side of commentary. I listened to him praise, the other fighters that was putting in active work, giving you the effort that you're looking for. You know what I'm saying? He was praising the main event, how they was battling and just willing to trade shots. You know what I'm saying? Get a crowd what they wanted. But yet he criticized Jahi for doing the same thing he praised him for when he was giving them the exact same energy against the opponents that he was going up against. I mean, really, not just his last three opponents, but his opponents, period. You know what I'm saying? Like, which format is it going to be? Are you going to praise somebody for boxing and being able to move and be defensively sound and so forth? Or are you going to pick and choose who you want to praise? I mean, like, you was praising other fighters for doing the same thing that Jahi was doing, but you was criticizing him and saying he's out of position. He's not in a position to throw. He's about to get the blue ticket. Who does that? Who explains to the fans midway through the fight that a fighter is about to get released because he's trying to convince everybody who's listening that Jahi's going to lose the fight? Who does that? Who sits up here and try to convince or influence the attendants, the consumers who's tuned in, the attendees, that, hey, he go back to that locker room, he might get the blue ticket, because he's about to get released from a contract. I mean, what did he do to you, first of all? You know what I'm saying? You never put him on your top 10 prospect list. You always had something to say about it. How can somebody that young piss you off, bro? I don't get it, man. You a Hall of Famer. I don't know how somebody that young in the game of boxing can have you to a point where you never want to put him on your top 10 prospect list. You explaining to people, that he his performance is so horrible that when he go back, he's gonna get released from his contract. You're pretty much scrutinizing every little bit of his performance when he was giving you active engagement with the guy who was a middleweight, top-ranked, top-5 opponent. And not only that, as the fight went along, right, and both fighters kept on exchanging, and it turned into a very solid, high-performance strap, they start to explain, oh, he's a top-5 contender. You know what I'm saying? He's a top-5 contender. And he kept saying that, there's a top-5 contender. No shit, he's a top-5 contender. You know what I'm saying? No shit. But you didn't really go into detail as to why he was fighting a top 5 contender. Why are you giving someone with 11 fights a top 5 middleweight contender without putting them on the main card at a co-main event or something like that? He had the highest rank opponent, you know what I'm saying, that was on the B side of this entire fight card. I just didn't get it. It wasn't for me to get. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to make any assumptions, but Timothy, you know, you mentioned it, but you didn't really go into details, go in depth as to why Jahi was fighting a top 5 WBA middleweight. You just said, oh, he fights at a higher weight class and he came down to 154. Well, you made it seem like that he was challenging himself. He wanted to come down here and fight Jahi or whatever the case may be. No, he's not about to move out of the middleweight division. You know what I'm saying? But we all know what your intent was. And I know you've rolled through the YTC several times and you said, you know, be sure to keep your name in your mouth. I'm not here to speak on you as far as, you know, anything personal, but it does feel like the route you took to this evening, I mean yesterday, you know, the route you took was corporate company guy, have very little to say about Jahi Tucker. So that is what we want. You, Timothy, the black commentator, to be the most abrasive, to be the most critical. Nothing he could do. He was praising him for the Nico Seknashvili, which was damn near the same, but this was even, in my opinion, this was more tough of a fight. Seknashvili. But he was criticizing him for this fight in a lot of ways with the tempo for 8 rounds that they put on, the pace that they put on, the cadence, than he did with Nico. Nico, he was, oh man, you know, he couldn't stop giving him high praise. Something ain't right, brother. You know what I'm saying? Now, Timothy, that was just effed up. I ain't gonna lie, man. You act like, you know what I'm saying? You act like that man, you know, did something to you personal. You know, to just put somebody on blast like that, as if they're nothing and they're about to get fired, and he's fighting a horrible fight. Act like, and then you try to insinuate what he was doing out the ring. That shit right there, bro. When you went to what he potentially, what you try to insinuate to the audience, that he wasn't doing what he was supposed to out the ring. You're talking about a name of a fighter that you don't even hear anything from when he's in between fights. You don't even hear him on social media. You don't see shit that he's doing on social media. All you see is a family that's up here training and in the gym, and him and his brothers up here preparing for fight. You know what I'm saying? The audacity of you, bro. The audacity for you to trash this man. That was effed up by all means. That was effed up the way you did that. You try to convince people that this man all of a sudden wasn't even doing what he was supposed to do. And he never even showed you that. Like he's pretty much setting the pace with fighters, moving around, boxing. And then all of a sudden, he faced some bigger opponents, tougher opponents. Oh, the ring gets smaller. Boom, he went in there and showed you he can fight center square. Shoot, get up here again for this fight. After the Nico Flash fight, the ring is even smaller. I'm like, hey, next it's gonna be a closet. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a closet. I'm not making this shit up. Do the research yourself. But he still went in there and fought this dude. You know, square circle. You know what I'm saying? Punch for punch. You know what I'm saying? Right there in that pocket. You know what I'm saying? They was both right there in the pocket. It wasn't no running. It was back and forth. The bigger fighter, you know, came out strong, of course. But who was pushing who back in the later rounds? Jahi was pushing him back in the 7 to 8 rounds. This man got exhausted. He was exhausted like at the end of the 6th round. You know what I'm saying? This is a fighter who had fought 2 10-rounders. Jahi haven't fought a 10-rounder yet. But he was pushing back the middleweight, a top-ranked number 5 WBA fighter in the middleweight division. And here you go, a 147 pounder who had none but tough fights since he pulled up to the 154 pound division, and he stepped in there with a guy and got the job done the best as he could. You know what I'm saying? Larry Lopez, what's good with you? Shout out to him. You know, that's all I'm going to say on that. You know what I'm saying? It just seems like when you take that much attention and project it towards a fighter, it's like you're trying to make up something. Like you had this package waiting for him, and then he's opening it. It's your evaluation. You say, I never saw this type of what you're accusing me of. You never counseled me on this. I don't have any audio of this. That's all I was looking at. I mean, you haven't gave me the impression that I wasn't performing up to standard. But all the criticism tonight when he was in there with a middleweight was unnecessary, bro. Just like Blunt said, unprofessional. It was unprofessional. Big salute to Espinoza, man. Shout out to him. Hold on for a second. Okay, I'm back. So I want to give a big shout out to Shushu. Man, great performance tonight, man. You went in there and stopped a guy who'd never been stopped, and you stopped him in the second round. Shout out to Bruce Carrington. You know what I'm saying? 9-0, getting this shit done. I mean, 10-0, I think, right now. But getting it done. Shout out to you. Very, very impressive performance. Shout out to Delonte Johnson, winning a split decision over a game Espinoza. A game Espinoza. Great, great fight, man. I like that fight. Shout out to Xander Zayas, man, with a 5th round stoppage. You know, very, very one-sided dominant performance in dispersion of Jorge Fatilla. And for Ramirez, Rafael Espinoza defeats Robisa Ramirez for his WBO featherweight title. That right there could be potential fight of the year, I'm not going to lie. That was a very tough fight of the year and had you on the edge of your seats because it pretty much, you thought, you know, how Robisi fights, that he was going to be in that moment once again to land a big shot to close the show. And man, Espinoza is just active with the hands. God damn. Like he had some moments in there where he was just hurt all to be damn, bro. And he just kept on battling back. He said he was thinking about his daughter the whole time. You know, fighters have all these other type of situations going on you never know about when they're fighting. But I got to take my hat off to both of these guys. Rafael Espinoza, who defeats Robisa Ramirez. You know, the records was 13-1 and 23-0. And yes, Espinoza had more experience, but you're talking about a 2-time Olympian. And Ramirez earned the early, you know, knockdown. But, you know, Espinoza came and earned a knockdown when he needed it in the final round. And how he did it, constant pressure. You know what I'm saying? Walking down Ramirez, willing to take a shot to give shots. You know what I'm saying? He was just a warrior tonight. You know what I'm saying? He was just a warrior. He was on a whole nother type of spirit, as they call it. like you couldn't stop him. Espinoza was determined. He wouldn't be denied today, man. And he just kept on pushing through Ramirez's freaking, pop shot here and there, trying to counter. He just kept on, he'll land like 4 or 5 shots at a time. Keep on pressing, keep on pressing. And the times he was hurt, he'd snap out of it and keep on pressing. And I guess his present pressure wore down Robeisy a little bit to the point he ended up gassing out. So Robeisy comes off that WBO featherweight title. And, it's going to be interesting moving forward, real talk. But that fight right there was a hell of a fight. I'm not going to lie. I was watching Devin Haney and Regis Prograis for the first 4 rounds. And then I just really start focusing on, the main event over here. Because the reason why I said that is that I had both fights going on at the same time. But Devin Haney and Regis fight started to go somewhat like I thought it would go. I was really hoping Regis would put on a better performance like that, better than what I seen on the screen, and it didn't happen. And I'm gonna get to that after this. But shout out to Robeisy Ramirez, man, for doing his thing. Being in there with a tough opponent. But Rafael was just a man tonight. No denying him, he was the absolute man tonight. And he was a more stronger physical, the more durable, rather. I'll say more durable fighter tonight. And that was a hell of a fight, man. And the scores was 113, 113, 114, 111, 115, 112. For a majority decision in favor of Rafael Espinoza. And if you look at the guy, you know what I'm saying, you have to say to yourself, this right here is the tears of joy. You know what I'm saying? The tears of victory. You know what I'm saying? That's a dude who had a lot in his heart, a lot that he had inside to finally reach the world championship pinnacle. That right there is the tears of goddamn victory, joy. And this is the tears of defeat. Robeisy Ramirez back here, and he's a warrior, man. Tran is a warrior. I'm not gonna lie, but he's back there with his people. He gave them all a hug, and he was really emotional back there, and rightfully so. You have a championship. You want to stay at the top. You want to continue to get them paychecks like that. And for a lot of these fighters, man, it's not just about the paycheck. It's all about the honor that you have as a champion to go out there and defend your title, win your title, defend your title. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Robeisy Ramirez and Rafael Espinoza and his win as the new WBO featherweight world champion. So it gets interesting at the 140-pound division because congrats to Devin Haney, 2-division world champion. 2-division world champion. He is the 140-pound WBC world champion. And he basically contended against Regis Prograis, who's a 2-time super lightweight world champion. And Devin showed that, first of all, he was a bigger guy in there. He hydrates up the 140 limit real good. In times, I know people call him feather fist and all that. And there's going to be some people up here saying, well, Regis don't have a chin. Well, you got to go back to when y'all was saying Devin don't have a chin either. But one thing about it, he can box. And that's what he did to Regis. He boxed him in the box, out the box, in the box, out the box. It was lopsided. You know what I'm saying? It was a lopsided affair. He pretty much had no issues with Regis. I don't know what Regis had going on. I don't want to speculate anything, but he got his goddamn ears boxed off today. You know what I'm saying? It was easy work. Easy work. It was easy work. Like, you could have just channeled the New Orleans Rougarou. I mean, you got one of the baddest freaking ring walk outfits out there. You know what I'm saying? Nobody can really touch that outfit. You know, that ring walk attire. But Devin just went in there and just boxed. I mean, just boxed like he was putting on a clinic for the community. It wasn't even close, man. You never showed any signs of being able to take control of the fight. You act like you couldn't even close distance. You know what I'm saying? He knocked you down early in the fight, man. And people, you know, need to understand it's boxing at the end of the day. So if you have somebody that's waiting for you to come in and try to rush because you got the shorter arms, you know, they're going to set you up. And that's what you're seeing Devin doing with the uppercut at some time. He was setting him up with the uppercut. You know, he knocked him down with a nice straight. I mean, he lined him up with a nice straight right hand. And down he went. But throughout the whole fight, man, you know, Regis just never showed that he had what it take to basically, you know, take the momentum away from Devin, close distance, land some hard shots, get something in there to kind of make Devin respect him. Devin just straight up boxed his ears off. It was a lopsided affair. I didn't see like no balls to the wall, no risk taker. I didn't see it. I just seen a guy who was doing, you know, a lot of feints, not really dressing it up with any punches or anything. It just got repetitive after a while, and it was a walk away. I call a fight like that a walk away. You know what I'm saying? That was a walk away. You know, he had so many rounds he could have just cruised. But one thing I salute Haney for is not just being so afraid that Regis has all this power. They're gonna have to respect him, man, because you know, the people that said back in the day that he don't have fans, he built some more fans right now. Now he's at a different division with a different look. There's more people that want to see him fight now, because he ain't going in there just running around, as you call it, sweeping outside of the ring and doing it. He boxed Regis, man. He wasn't running nowhere. He wasn't on his bicycle. He wasn't on the trolley. He wasn't goddamn kick pushing around the ring. He fought Regis right there in the pocket. So you gotta understand that, you know, his fan base is steadily increasing, and that's why I got Teofimo Lopez up here. Now it gets very interesting because the belt holders at 140 is Matias, Haney, and Romero. Okay, so you know Teofimo Lopez is the WBO world champion. Now I'm curious if we're able to see a unification. What I have found out is that Teofimo contract. That's how you do business. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Teo, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Teo. Always looking for big fights. I know he said he wanted Crawford. But from what has been proven and validated, that, you know, Teo then fought Subriel Matias, who just came off a very superb stoppage. Teo has sent him the contract. So we could see a unification. You know what I'm saying? We could see a unification between the WBO and the IBF super lightweight champion, yo. That's what I'm talking about. I like that. That's going to be a hell of a fight. We could potentially see an undisputed 140-pound division again, but this time with different names. You know what I'm saying? We get different names. And when we got three that we know of for real, we got the three tough, you know, champions. We got Haney, Matias, Lopez. That WBA, we're gonna leave that alone. But when you talking about unifying like that, that's three champions right there that can make big fights. So if Teo absolutely get this fight with no problem, sign, you know, with Matias, that's gonna be a big fight. That gives Matias more eyes, you know, because, you know, a lot of people know who he is, but he don't have a big fan base all around globally like that. Like I said, tonight, Devin steadily increased his fan base with his dominating performance over Regis, and he earned a knockdown. So people gonna have to look at that. Like, yeah, he does have the speed and capability of landing shots, timing them, You know what I'm saying? Timing them. And we all know what timing can do. Timing can earn you a knockdown. You know what I'm saying? They say timing beats power, right? You know what I'm saying? That shot he timed on Regis was, he hurt Regis several times in that fight. So salute to him. Congrats to Devin Haney for his 2-division championship. You know, now the WBC super lightweight title holder. Also to Rafael Espinoza, you know, the WBO featherweight world champion. Shout out to them. And let's look forward to see what's popping with this. But ultimately, I do want to give a big shout out to Team Tucker for another outstanding fight. I mean, they can't say you're not battle tested. Hopefully, it's some positive shit that comes from, you know, this performance. I don't know, but way to go in there and show what we already know. You know, you got heart, you got boxing IQ, you strong, heart is never a question. You know what I'm saying? So, congrats to you, big dog. Shout out to Mr. Gold and the OG on deck. You already know. Larry Lopez on deck. I usually don't mind Tim's commentary, but I had to turn that shit off. Yeah, he was very, very, you know, he was very biased, man. Think Sting, what's good, man? Salute to you. I see you in the building. Paulie's hate Haney, but he had no choice but to give him his props. Tim need to swallow his pride and do the same. I hear you, Samuel. Real talk. He do, but you know that wasn't pride that Tim was. That wasn't pride. That was just straight up uncut biasness. Because that is him knowing what the company, how they feeling or whatever. How can you feel that way about somebody that you know, just because he missed weight one time, just because he had a growth spurt and he was growing out 147 pounds. They didn't say that about Xander Zayas, but hey, Xander, he quickly moved out of 47 to 54 before he lost it on the scales. It just so happened, a miscalculation, you know, for them to make the weight at 147, they missed weight. Missed weight is not a freaking a automatic confinement or freaking penalty in boxing where you're banished and you're suspended. You know what I'm saying? They don't suspend you for missing weight for 6 months just because you didn't make weight. No, they go through the process of trying to figure out what they're going to do about it. And then it don't help if he misses weight and then his opponent is told, oh, you don't have to fight him. You still going to get your money. And then the opponent just bounce on you. What happened to all the talk about Regis having the best corner? W says is Regis overrated. To say that a fighter is overrated in hindsight, I mean that's kind of like, you know, just kicking him while he already down. Because, you know, that's just like a fighter, they can win, and then when they lose, people want to talk about they overrated. Tonight he looked overrated. Be honest with you. Tonight he looked overrated. I don't give a damn. Look, he said he was gonna go in there and beat that boy up. He said he gonna beat him up. The only thing that was getting beat up is Devin Haney's glove to Regis' freaking face. You know, that's what was getting beat up. So you can sit up here and say all you want, but he was sitting up here making claims that he was gonna beat that guy up, and it didn't happen. Expert Genius on deck. What's good? What's good? I see you in the building. Salute to you. But yeah, man, it was a good night of fights. I ain't gonna lie, man. It was a good night of fights. Salute to all the winners. You know what I'm saying? I saw Montana Love got dropped twice and stopped by Parra. You know what I'm saying? Parra's tough, man. Parra's a tough fighter. Real talk. He's a tough fighter. Who else that was on there? A lot of people are talking about Ebony lost her title, but I don't know if you checked IG. It's been some back and forth between a Team USA coach and Ebony because she won for the title, and I guess they was trying nah, we ain't gonna give you the shot, this, that, and the other. And she ended up going in there losing about against Yoshida. The one that was up there with the lingerie on, with the tatas hanging out and all that. Yeah, she lost today. She lost her title today. So, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully, that fight get made. You know what I'm saying? With the back and forth that was going on. It happens, you know what I'm saying? They talk and they talk. But yeah, she lost her title today. Yoshida said, yeah, you can get all the clapping and the whistling and all that shit. At the end of the day, I'm coming in there to fight, and she did. She took the title. So she lost her title too. Um, I forgot the other female name for real. No, let me see. Let me go back over here. Destiny Jones was stopped today too. Destiny Jones was stopped in the last round by Ebony Bridges. No, not Ebony Bridges, but hold on. By Beatrice Ferreira. Ferreira. Yeah, Beatrice Ferreira stopped Destiny Jones in the 8th round. Yep. Stopped in the 8th round. So, you know, Regis not overrated. People just overlook Haney. Hold on for a second. Regis is not overrated. People just overlook Haney because how they feel about him. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of biases in boxing, for many different reasons. I can tell you that. But yeah, like you said, yeah, it's a lot of people overlook certain fighters because they just don't support them like that for various reasons. You got social media, you have influences, the fighter himself, herself, how they fight, who they done fought. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah. You're right on, spot on with that. Regis just wasn't on Haney's level and being almost 36. Yeah, he wasn't on Haney's. He's on Haney's level as far as professional boxer, but as far as skills goes, no, he's not. Regis is an elite fighter now. He deserved to be champion. You know what I'm saying? But when it came to a more technically skilled fighter, Devin's just too much of a different level. You know what I'm saying? Skill wise, he's on a different curriculum, a curriculum that Regis never was taught in his boxing career. He never was considered a skillful fighter. That's facts. You can't fight Devin Haney with your heels on the floor. He's gonna pick you apart. I agree. That's a solid summation. You cannot fight with your heels on the floor, flat-footed. You can't do it. You can't just sit up here and fight somebody with the arm length, the speed, and the combinations. You know what I'm saying? And the technical skill set. Fight him at distance like Regis was doing, without understanding that you're not a locksmith. Regis didn't understand. He didn't have the key, man. You know what I'm saying? He just didn't have the key to unlock that today. You can't just stay there knowing that you haven't unlocked it the first half of the fight, and you still don't have no plans. Like, you look slow out there. You look like the shorter fighter. You fought like the shorter fighter. You made Devin look like he was like 6'8", and he was just able to do what he wanted when he wanted. I mean, it was just a trounce, a rout. That's what it was, a rout. He just routed Regis with no problem. No freaking problem, man. He routed him. No problem, man. It wasn't a boring fight, but it was less exciting than what I was seeing over there with Robisi and Rafael. You know what I'm saying? But still, it's no liability on Haney. He did what he was supposed to do. He wanted to box Regis' ears off, and he picked up a second division championship. That's what's up. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. Blunt say I saw round one with Yoshida and Bridges and bet $20 on Yoshida live at plus 500. Won a smooth 100 off that fight. That's what's up. Thanks for letting me know. I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot right there. I appreciate that. When people, spread the news just like tree sap, you know what I'm saying? When they spread the news like tree sap and peanut butter mixed together, it's going to take, for that shit just to drip all the way down and let you know, okay, I got it. I got one droplet on my hand. Okay, I got it. Damn, it took that shit 8 years to get to where it's supposed to go. Okay, I got it. That 1-2 from Haney that dropped Progress was almost similar to Crawford's that dropped Spence. Absolutely. Lined them up real nice. Real nice. And, Regis, man, if what you said and everything that you said to Devin, I mean, I don't know why fighters just want to have conversations after the fight. Like when you get routed like that, just save it for another time. There's no need for you to be over there trying to tell Devin what he already know, because he was the one in there doing it to you. You don't need to go in there and tell what he already know. He already know what he did to you. You was in there and you was the one that was watching him do it to you. You know what I'm saying? But the talk after the fight and give all this hug. I'm not hugging, man. I like good job. That's it. You beat my ass like that. Good job, man. It's good fight. But I ain't just sitting up there smiling and have a conversation and shit like that. After I said I'm gonna beat him up bad. I'm gonna knock him out. Man, y'all, he made y'all look like y'all didn't. Come on, man. That y'all didn't watch no film? Y'all couldn't come up with a better game plan than that? The first half of the fight, just waiting on the outside with all the feints. And then in the second round, you threw that overhand left. And I like what whoever said that. He said, I wish he wouldn't have did that so early. And I agreed with him. I wish Regis wouldn't have threw that left hand so early, because even the boxer, I think it was a boxer that was commentating, said now Devin's going to be watching out for it. Well, once he settled in, it didn't matter, because Regis couldn't find a way to close distance. Like, he couldn't find the key. Like I said, he couldn't call Harry Potter up and say, hey man, can you talk to them? So, give me some magic and try to break this code right quick. You know what I'm saying? We got 12 rounds and I'm already down like 6. I need for somebody to come to my aid now. Can you help me out, Mr. Potter? He couldn't find anything. He couldn't find the key. He couldn't find the motherfucking goddamn magic. He couldn't find Pandora's box. He couldn't find Dorothy and Toto. He couldn't do anything to break that code. Easy work. Just easy work. Easy work. I never seen either lady fight, but Bridges didn't look like she belonged in there after the first round. I mean, you gotta understand, women's boxing is quite different when it comes to skill level than males. That's just the way it is, real talk. Regis just said he wants to go to MMA in the post-fight presser. Somebody need to get Regis a cold Heineken and put some ice on his head, okay? Because I'm not saying you wouldn't do well in MMA, but you fight at 140, okay? You fight at 140. You never wanted to move up to 47. The weight class for that you will have to fight in is 145. And you got some guys over there that got hand speed that will knock you cold. The smack. I mean, dude, you have to fight at featherweight, bro. And it's much different than boxing 140 pounds over there. You know, so at 36 years old, you want to go over the MMA. It's not a good move. Unless you know something we don't know. And if you do know some type of mixed martial arts, why you didn't use it in the ring today in your clinch game? You should have been able to use that in your clinch game or something. You didn't display any of that foot movement. You're going to be a flat-footed mixed martial artist at a featherweight division? Man, you get destroyed in there, dog. You better pull up Alexander Volkanovski. You better pull up. I know you ain't going to drop the 135. You didn't want to move up to 147. So you're definitely not dropping down to 135, the bantamweight division over there, and face them guys. They fast as hell. You're almost 36 years old. Don't do it, Regis. Man, somebody better get that man and hand him a freaking pack of ice and a cold Heineken and tell him to just drink that whole thing. Just sit there, chill. You know, let's have a nice meal. Sit there, chill, sleep on it, and get this MMA shit out your head. Now, I don't care what your coach told you. Your strength and conditioning, don't take your ass over the MMA. That's not the sport where you just say, I'm done with boxing. I'm going to go with the MMA. Don't do it. Don't do it, man. But y'all hold it down, man. Big shout out to Fight Night. Big shout out to the hottest chat in the MF and game, A-Side Official. Appreciate y'all. I'm not going to stay on here long. We'll do it again, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the ones who got it done. You know, tonight, great work. Salute. I'm out.
Left jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best, you gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy, is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports.